How you doing, people? Welcome back to another ESO video. Today is about the update 44 changes to the Templar, specifically the tanky side of the class. So there have been lots and lots of different things over time that have been altered in favor of the Templar because they were one of the classes that, while they can tank just like every other class in the game, were suffering in some of their areas as far as utility is concerned. They didn't feel like they had enough of their toolkit to kind of make them shine in areas where other classes did kind of more, basically. So one of the major problems over time was the fact that we didn't have an area of effect immobilization. Now, there's nothing saying you have to, but other classes did have them, so that kind of pushed them to be altered. You had to try and figure out things another way. Now, the lazy tank on my channel was used to do many different things. One was area of effect taunt, which they removed. Another was to allow for a non-CC pull, which was Rush of Agony, to then not stun the enemies, so you could still pull them in, not stun them, and then stun them over top with the time stop, so that meant you could still pull and pin at the same time, which was kind of a work around the class not having that. Now, over time, they obviously changed Spear Shards, Luminous or Blazing, where they now actually immobilize the enemy. Now, bear in mind, that change is actually now live and has been for a patch or so, but that was their starting point, saying, do you know what, we're missing this in their toolkit, here's something a little extra. So we do have an immobilization, but they still felt that they were kind of lacking. Now, the Templar gains its strength as a tank by turtling up, kind of standing on the spot and being just really, really tough and hard to move. Again, they felt that there was something missing. So what they did is they upgraded Radiant Ward, or either one of the two morphs actually, the damage shield down here on the Adric Spear skill line, and basically boosted the crap out of it. They allowed us to have now access to an area of effect minor maim, so the targets around you when you activate this will actually be debuffed, at the same time as enhancing the shield. Now, the shield isn't a massive change to the other morph. It does about 3% more damage. This particular one, I've used Bastion and a bit of health, and managed to get this up to a really healthy, almost 20k shield, which is pretty mad. Now, bear in mind, obviously, you can design your build how you like and make this even stronger, but at the moment, for argument's sake, we've got a 19k damage shield. If you hit multiple enemies around you, up to 6, you can hit more, but 6 will cap it out at 120% extra. You're looking at a 44k-ish shield. You have a 20k damage shield, that's 44k off the bat. For a tank, that is bloody strong. Now, obviously, this is scaled off of maximum health, so the higher your health, the bigger the shield. That's not to say you can't take advantage of it as a DPS or a healer. If you're a DPS or a healer, you're probably looking at about a 5 to 6k shield, but again, 120% on top of that is a really, really good one, and about on par with that of the Sorcerer shield itself. So, as a Templar, you still have access to that larger damage shield for being in the thick of it, but of course, they've got other benefits as well. One of them being this. Explosive Charge was changed. Now, if you've used the Lazy Tank build, you know full well that I was utilizing the Tormentor set to apply a taunt to multiple enemies at once because the impact applied a taunt from the Tormentor set. Then they changed the Tormentor set, and there's a video about this too, where they made it so that your pulls and your blink and your charge and teleport abilities do still taunt, but only the individual target that you hit. But to allow us some extra, since they felt bad taking away a feature that we shouldn't have had, AoE taunt, they gave us a heal based on damage done. Basically, on the Dark Soul build, which is a revived Lazy Tank build, because the AoE taunt was gone, so my constraints were removed, so we made it even stronger. Basically, for hitting multiple targets at once with that particular skill, you would heal for the damage done, and that does count for all targets. Impact only applies the initial taunt, but all targets consider the heal. That hasn't changed. What has changed is the need to use that set for this particular setup. Now, on builds that you like using the Tormentor set, if you want the resistance bonus, if you want to make sure that your pull abilities, all of them, apply an actual taunt rather than a just temporary one, if you want to make sure that your charge abilities and blink and all that kind of stuff can still do it, you can still utilize this set. But the Templar specifically doesn't need it to make Explosive Charge taunt. The skill itself now taunts, and it's a full one. I know it's a gap closer skill, but it doesn't follow the same rules as pull, only its range. If you jump with this ability, you will get major protection for 15 seconds, and you get minor protection from your Adric Spear passives for applying a skill from this skill line. You apply a taunt to the first target hit, and you'll obviously do the damage in area of effect and knock things off balance and interrupt area of effect as well. This skill is fucking mental. All you have to do is this. He's taunted, they're all hit, you've got major protection, and then if you activate your damage shield, minor maim on everything. So, jumping in, minor maim, you have a 44k damage shield and you've taunted the first target. next, next, and so on and so forth. Now, as far as your toolkit is concerned right now, this is how simple it actually is. 3 skills, just 3, will allow you to do this. One is your original immobilization, again, which was changed recently. Probably find a potion here because my resources are struggling on this not really made a build. So let's get some pots. This is on PTS, by the way. That's why I've got loads and loads of stuff. No, you can't have any money. It's not real. So, Spear now immobilizes and has done for a patch or so. This now taunts and gives you a massive protection bonus. 2, actually, minor and major. And this gives you a stupid huge damage shield. Really strong on its own, but extra strong in a crowd. So you can maim, you can mobilize, and you can taunt. And at the same time, you're turtling up being very, very strong. Again, the major benefits of a Templar is the fact that if you stand relatively still, you're quite hard to kill. Because most of our heals as a tank are heals over time that come from the pool, which is our health bar. The higher your health, the stronger it is. If that's confusing, there is a class guide on the channel, but that's going to have to be revisited, obviously, because of new skills. But everything you need to know, generally speaking, is there. You can see here, the rune increases healing done by 200% if you stand in it, but the actual heal is done off of maximum health. So the higher the health, the better. So again, another skill that we can take advantage of, obviously, which is already there, is this. So if you start stacking all these things together, put this down, damage shield up, with a taunt, with major and minor protection, with maim as well, and immobilize, you're not getting hit very hard, and you are really, really hard to kill. So just a couple of things in the Templar tank's toolkit has altered its utility and survivability all at once, plus your benefits towards the group as far as debuffs are concerned. That minor maim does make a big difference. It usually comes with the snare, but bear in mind, our immobilization and or snare skills actually now give people resources back as well. So where you could argue, well, the DK does talons and maim in the same time, so immobilization and maim, the Templar needs 2 skills, yes, but 1 skill does damage over time for a long period of time and supplies a synergy to the group to get resources back, while the damage shield gives the maim and a massive protection bonus for you. So for using 2 skills, you can effectively do the same thing, but you get a lot more out of it. Whereas the DK, for example, would still have to use 2 skills if they wanted a damage shield, igneous shields, and pinning, talons. It just feels different. So just like every other class, if you wanted to pin and protect, you would use 2 skills. Ours are just kind of flip reverse of each other. Pretty cool. But that taunt essentially is a game changer because you no longer need to take use of that set if you don't want to, and you can actively just taunt anything you want with a jump. Now let's just make sure that does actually work. As you can see, the full Tormentor set is not on. So if I jump, that is taunted. Now look very carefully at the buff timers at the top there. If you're using a pull ability, that won't reset. It's not a pull ability. It doesn't work like a regular pull where it doesn't overlap itself. It is a legit taunt. Templar is now officially the 2nd class in the game to get an official taunt. If you have chains in your toolkit, great. That's a temporary one that will run out after 15 seconds. You can't overlap it with anything other than a solid taunt, like a proper one. The Arcanist is the only class in the game so far that has its own unique taunt. Now the Templar has one. So, hopefully that helped. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. Yes, I know, obviously, you're going to be excited for the Lazy Tank stroke Dark Soul update. Wait for that, obviously, because we are not done yet. The new update for Update 44 has several weeks worth of testing to go yet. You're not going to get any spoilers from me, but keep your eyes peeled because obviously it's getting an update. Thank you very much indeed for watching, people. If you're not subscribing already, obviously hit that button. It is free, and if you want to help support, there are some links down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.